Hello and welcome, dudes, dudettes, and Doritos. That just came to my head. So I recently reached 3,000 subscribers. I am now at 3,500 subscribers. Thank you so much for that. I haven't even had my channel for a year, and I'm really amazed how much you guys have supported me, and huge thanks for that. But right now I don't have a lot of time to record, so what I did is you guys ask me questions, and you can ask any questions underneath this video. I'll try to answer all of them if I can. I decided to pick 30 of them. If you didn't make it into the video, I'm sorry. You can comment down below this video and I will answer them when I get time to. So let's just get right into it. My first few questions that came up a lot were what device do I use, what app do I use, and what brushes do I use. For my art, I am on an iPad. I don't quite know what iPad I'm on. It's one of the newer ones. What app do I use? I use Procreate, and soon for my animations, I'll be using Procreate Dreams. I also use CapCut for my editing. The brushes that I use, currently I'm experimenting with different brushes, but some of my favorites are the 6B pencil, the cotton brush, the watercolor wash one, and I really love the Inca brush for line art. Will I make a tutorial series? If that's something that you guys want to see, I totally am able to do that. Right now I am working on the landscape tutorial. I promise it is coming, but I really need time to record for it. I hope to get it out over winter break. What are my hobbies other than art? What I really like to do in my free time besides art and animation and all this YouTube stuff is I play piano, I play violin, I know a little bit of guitar, and I really like to sing. And I really like to play video games, which is a question that will come up at some point down here along the line too. Do I have any tips for new digital artists? If you are new to digital art, I started out with traditional art and then I moved into digital art in 2020. Any tips that I would have? I would say don't try to copy others. Like, it's okay to take inspiration from others, but don't say that I want this style and I'm going to copy it exactly. Because especially if that person's already really successful, you're not going to get any success from that because it's not original. Try to find what you want to express in your art. I'm not saying that you can't take inspiration from others. You should definitely take inspiration from others. All I'm saying is just don't try to be somebody that you're not, and just stay true to yourself and your morals when you're drawing. What is my inspiration and motivation? This is a very good question. What motivates me is just I really like to do it. Drawing makes me happy and doing all this art stuff. My main inspirations are music. When I listen to a song, I think of different characters and how I could draw different expressions and how to express their story. It's a whole weird thing where I can't draw unless I'm listening to something, and whatever I'm listening to will impact how the artwork looks in the end. What is my favorite concept in Wings of Fire? My favorite concept in Wings of Fire is probably, I do really like the idea of fire scales, though I do think it is really overpowered. But probably, I know it's a really small detail, but I really love the rain wing frills and the sand wing sails. I don't know why I love them so much. I just think they're really cute. Do I listen to music or audiobooks? I listen to music when I draw. I used to listen to a lot of audiobooks, but not as much anymore. And if you're wondering what kinds of music I listen to, my playlist is absolute just chaos. I have everything. I've got pop, I've got classical music, I've got rock. It's really weird. I've got a lot of stuff, and it just kind of depends on the mood that I'm feeling and the character that I'm drawing. Do I have any allergies? I am allergic to alcohol-based products, so I can't use hand sanitizer, I can't use face paint, stuff like that. Completely unrelated question, but it's a good question. Do I like How to Train Your Dragon? How to Train Your Dragon is how I started liking dragons. Funny thing was that when I was younger, I hated How to Train Your Dragon. Like when I was 7 to 9, there was a period where I absolutely despised How to Train Your Dragon for some reason. And then when I turned 10, all of a sudden I was obsessed, and I loved everything to do with How to Train Your Dragon, and I love Toothless, and I still do. I have a strange obsession with dragons, as you can probably tell. The next question asks, what are my opinions on furries/therians? And honestly, I don't care how you express yourself, and I really, really like some of the art. I am subscribed to a lot of people who are furries, and, like, their art is amazing. I really, really love that they choose to express a character, and just self-expression is what art is. And I really enjoy the art side of it. The only thing that I don't like about furries and therians is when, for example, in middle school and high school, there are people who believe that they are physically able to be an animal and that they always want to be that rather than being a human when we are in that professional setting. Like, I get expressing yourself and expressing your character and who you are, but you still have to know how to be a decent human being. But the most of furries that I know are amazing people and are amazing artists, and yeah, so I don't really care. Am I religious? Yes, I am Christian, more specifically Lutheran Brethren. Do I know how that is different than any other type of Christian? Not really. You can do the research on it if you want. Then the question after that is, am I cheese? No, but I have a friend who is, and if you would like to speak to him, I can force him to speak to you. And next is, what is my favorite Wings of Fire book? I do not read the novels because I don't really enjoy the story that much. I just really like drawing dragons. One of my favorite of the graphic novels that I've read, though, is the first one and then Moon Rising, because I really like being able to compare and contrast them with how much Mike Holmes has grown as an artist. I think it's really, really interesting because the art style at the beginning is so much different than the art at the end, and I just really like being able to read through them and see how the art changes and adapts. How did I discover Wings of Fire? I was very, very into, before I got my YouTube channel, I was into the How to Train Your Dragon universe, which therefore kind of correlated and led to me discovering Wings of Fire, which is, in my opinion, a much bigger fandom and community. So, and I'm only in it because I really, really like dragons. That's the only reason. I don't really enjoy the story, which I know can sound kind of mean, but I simply don't enjoy the story very much. That's why I'm writing my own, with my own dragons, and yeah. Other fandoms, yeah. How to Train Your Dragon, Wings of Fire, Warrior Cats, those are the main three. Sometimes I hop around to other ones as well. For example, the Dream SMP one, there are a lot of people in that who are amazing artists. And then my first art program. My first art program was Medi Bang Paint. It was an amazing program, and I actually used it even after I got Procreate because I loved it so much, but then there was an update that added like a bunch of ads, and you can only really use 75% of the screen anyway unless you pay, which I don't have the money for that. So I don't really recommend it for beginners anymore. I say just pay for Procreate. Save up for it if you don't have the money. I understand that. But it's a one-time payment, and it is honestly really, really cheap for how amazing it is. How long have I been doing art and digital art? I started drawing and really getting into drawing when I was 2. I drew like my first stick figure. Like the first thing that I can remember was a stick figure image of me and my mother holding hands. And I decided then and there that I was going to become an artist, no matter what, as a toddler. And I am too stubborn to change that mindset. I got into digital art during 2020 and pandemic when everything was online, so I started watching YouTube videos more, saw that other artists are using an online thing, and I started trying it out. I still do a lot of traditional art, but now I mainly do digital art and animation. And the last question is, how did Gemma come to be? Gemma is my main. This is me. Hi. So, how did she come to be? the first time I made Gemma was my co-author and I. We have our own story of how we met. It's kind of funny. But she and I, when she first met me, we decided that we both really liked dragons, so we sat down and we drew a dragon. This dragon would end up being the main villain in our book, Inanis. That wasn't his name at the time, but that's what we drew. We were, I think, 7 or 8 maybe, and after that we went to a camp with my cousins and all that pizzazzy stuff, and we decided to draw more dragons. Like, let's make characters for each other. And at this point, it was all still inside the How to Train Your Dragon universe. I drew Gemstone at the time. She was blind, and she could shapeshift. She was a shape-shifting fury of some sort. I think she was literally called a shape-shifting dragon, and somehow was in the How to Train Your Dragon universe. She was completely blue, like no other scale. It's like a blue teal-ish color. And that design sticked for like 2 years. Well, maybe not 2 years, maybe a year, maybe half a year, I don't know. Something around there. And then I decided, no, it's not pretty enough. Let's add a bunch of intricate swirly designs everywhere. So I did that. Very contrasting. I will see if I can find that artwork. I'll be showing some artworks in front of you of what I can find. This one sticked for 2 months maybe before I switched to the next design, which only sticked for a few weeks to a month, where she was just completely teal again and she had yellow designs. At that time, I was really proud of that artwork for her. I thought she looked gorgeous. And then after that was her longest lasting design that I've had so far, which was, she was completely like a green turquoise color, and the underside of her wings were purple with stars. And she had a pet kitten it was really, really tiny with antlers and angel wings. I think I called it a Monacana for some reason. I don't know why, I just did. And it was really, really cute, and that was one of my imaginary friends at the time. So that design sticked for a really, really long time, even into when I got digital art and everything. And then I started changing her design to something more similar to what we have now. She became more of a nightlight type of design with grays and whites. She started to become lighter and lighter along that period of time. Here's a picture of her there. I can't remember much about that design, but that's kind of when I started getting into the nitty-gritty story. And then soon after that, like, that design stuck for about a year, maybe a year and a half even. And then we decided to make the big switch, where we would no longer be in the How to Train Your Dragon universe, because we wanted to make our own thing, because we were starting to do interplanetary stuff, and it just didn't make sense anymore to be in the How to Train Your Dragon universe. So we decided to just switch it and make it totally our own thing. So we redesigned it. I started playing around with her design a bit, and that's right when I got my YouTube channel. So the first video, one of my first videos with Gemma, which was the A animation meme or whatever, that was still her How to Train Your Dragon design. It looked pretty similar to what she is now. And then I just kind of started changing it and adapting her design, and that's still the stage that I'm in now. I've been doing that for 6 or so months, maybe, probably more. Yeah, that's pretty much how Gemma came to be. She's still changing, and I need to make a new ref for her at some point, because the ref for her now is getting kind of old because of how much I've changed her design already. But yeah, and that's all that I have for this video. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Thank you so much for 3,500 plus subscribers. It makes me so happy. By the time I had YouTube for a year, I thought I was only going to have, 700 subscribers. I don't know how I got here, and I mean, I couldn't have done it without my viewers and you guys, of course, so thank you so much. If you have any questions that I didn't answer, comment them and I will answer them as soon as I possibly can. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I hope to see you soon.